Jason, you mentioned getting a commit again from the number one wide receiver in the country, and it just seems to be a perfect match in regards to, because of the offense that Lincoln Riley runs, because of the emphasis on the passing game. Not that I think at this point Oklahoma's passing the ball any more than anybody else, but of course, because of the status of the program and how good they are throwing the football, with Lincoln Riley being a mastermind on the offensive side of the ball, obviously from the recruit standpoint, it's an attractive place to go for a wide receiver. We've seen capable wide receivers and really good wide receivers through Oklahoma during the Bob Stoops years. But to your point that you made just a couple minutes ago, it's really taken off in terms of gaining some of those elite guys at wide receiver just here in the last few years. So it's attractive from the recruiting standpoint, from the recruits standpoint, but it's also, I'm sure, from Lincoln Riley and his staff's perspective that, you know, we're going to push hard. Not that we're going to prioritize any particular position over other positions, but this is a position we need depth to make sure if some of these guys become busts, that we're going to have multiple layers of really quality guys, plus those high-end guys we really need. So it's kind of a marriage of both desires on both parties' side that is resulting in all these elite wide receivers coming home.
No, you're absolutely right. It's probably the best position that Oklahoma's been able to recruit under Riley. And to your point, Mark, it's exactly because of the offense he runs, the success that Oklahoma has had. And, you know, obviously it starts with Riley, but then, you know, when you look at the quarterbacks they've been able to get in on campus. When you talk about Spencer Rattler, who was a top, you know, he was a 5-star, one of the top quarterbacks in the country. You talk about Caleb Williams last year, one of the top quarterbacks in the country. Oklahoma's not really recruiting a quarterback here in the 2022 class, but then when you're looking at 2023, you have Malachi Nelson, who's the number 2 quarterback in the country. So I think, you know, the opportunity for some of these kids to come in and not only play for a guy like Riley, but come to a place that has really good, I mean, great quarterback play over the last, you know, few years since Riley has been here is, I think, another factor that kind of goes into it. When you think of Oklahoma hasn't had a ton of, when you look at great wide receivers make it to the NFL, but CeeDee Lamb is a guy, you know, recently who's a guy that's made it. Hollywood Brown is a guy with Baltimore who's playing really well. Mark Andrews, just from a tight end perspective, just kind of looking in that same mold. So yeah, I think that's a good. When you look at that, and when you look at the ability for Oklahoma to put players into the NFL, and you know they're playing at the, you know, at the highest level. When you think about, they've obviously not won playoff games, but they're making it to the playoffs. You know, almost every year. Obviously, last year they didn't make it, but the 3 years before that, certainly they were in the playoffs. So I think that that makes it kind of advantageous for you to get some of the top wide receivers in the country, knowing exactly how good the offense has been year in and year out at Oklahoma under Riley.